How's it going? I'm going to tell you some hidden tips in Rise of Kingdoms that they don't tell you. Let's get into it. First and foremost, I want to talk to you guys about sleepers and jumpers. So when you're making a brand new account, you either have the option to play on that server and play that server only. You have the option to jump before you hit City Hall 8, or you have an option to become a sleeper. Now I actually learned what a sleeper was very recently. I'll kind of go over the pros and cons of jumpers versus sleepers real quick. And from my understanding, I'm very new to this game, but I had someone in my chat explain it to me. So a jumper is when you limit yourself to City Hall 7 and you get as many troops as you can, and then before your 10-day immigration pass times out, you jump to a new server, the newest one. Because at the very beginning of the game, you get a 10-day beginner immigration pass. Now, some of the benefits of this is your account already City Hall 7 when you migrate. Everyone else who's new on that server starts at City Hall 1. You also get more troops, and you just get a boost in power. You'll be around like, I think 200 to 300k power, maybe 400k when you jump. So that's also amazing. Some of the cons of this, you can't get the 1.5 million skin. When you jump, that expedition mission that you get at the very beginning of the game to get to expedition level 40, that doesn't happen anymore. You can't get that reward. And I think the final con is that it's super boring to just sit there, train troops all day, every day, and then like chain barbs, and then farm, and then it's just a lot. What I did on my account was I was a sleeper, or I was a jumper for like 3 days. I got max City Hall 7. I spent like 1 extra day to chain barbs, get as much resources and stuff as I could, and then I jumped. So I only did like a 3-day jump. Now what I mean by get as many resources as you can, as you know, you have to delete all the resources when you migrate. But if you can keep your missions in here and not claim them. You can claim them once you jump and get some bonus resources. Now sleeping is similar to jumping, except your account, you push past City Hall 7 and you'll be trying to farm silver to buy a passport. Now you'll be pushing your power, and then you can migrate once your account is like 20 days old or something to a brand new kingdom with a passport, and this will allow you to have around like, you can get upwards of a couple million power, and you have a super strong advantage. Now there's not a lot of cons to this strat. Besides, you don't get the expedition mission again, but you can't get the city skin because you'll be able to push your power, the 1.5 million city skin. I think one of the biggest cons of this is you're migrating servers, so all the connections you made on that server are gone. But it's not the biggest deal. You'll make new friends, you know? So those are your 2 hidden options at the very beginning of the game when you start playing. Another thing I want to show you guys is setting your troop march. Now, I actually have all my gathers out. I'll quickly recall my Matilda. Now, in your settings, there will be a customization that will let you troop loadouts include equipment and armaments. Now, it is by default turned off, but let's say for some reason my gear is not Alex. Let's say I was doing Barb Forts and I put my gear in Aethelfled. With this setting turned on, when I click March and I load my preset of 1 that has my gear on it, click confirm, the gear will automatically get swapped to my March, and I can send it out with the gear on. Now this is super helpful so you don't accidentally send your troops out without gear. That's happened so many times to me, and your March just gets melted and it's a bad trade. You should have this setting on, it's very helpful. Another really hidden setting is filter mode. Now if you didn't know, I already made a video about this, but if you haven't seen that video, filter mode is super good. One of the reasons why is when there's a lot of players on, you want to enter dot mode. Now dot mode looks like this, and all the marches will get turned into little dots. Either, I don't know what the default is, but you can turn on the strategic view version in the settings, but the marches will get turned into dots. And when you're ball fighting, you want to see marches inside of your ball, so you can turn filter mode on and it will hide everything and turn your things to a little, like, I don't know what you call this, a pin. You can also hide markers in dot mode, which I will be doing when I stream my fights, because markers are really important. But sometimes if there's a marker right on the fight that you're happening and they're not removing it, Let's quickly turn them off. Another good setting is quick command. Now, quick command is kind of hard for me to show, but basically, let's say I have it turned on. I'll send my march out. What you want to do is select your march, and then you can move it with left click with quick command. Now this helps you do a couple things, but mainly it stops you from targeting stuff that you don't want to target. So I have allied troops turned off, so all the marches that are in your kingdom but not your alliance, they're considered allied troops. So let's say I was fighting with someone from this alliance, and we're ball fighting. All these orange troops, I would not be able to attack them if I click it. As you can see, it doesn't give me the marking sound. Same with barbarians, you don't actually hit barbarians, you don't hit barb forts. Normally, if you click on this, barb fort pops up. And you can actually target these. So if you're dragging like before, your march would target the barb fort. But with quick command, you can't target it. Same with barbs. And the really important thing I think is buildings. Say you're fighting around enemy cities, you won't be able to accidentally attack their buildings. I'm trying to attack it right now, it's not letting me. So that's some of the benefits of quick command. I recommend turning it on. It is tough to remember because you have to remember to turn it off when you're not using it, because your marches will be going around everywhere. But if you can remember to turn it on and off between when you're resetting and attacking, it's super helpful. Now, one thing that I did not know at the beginning of the game is that you can set presets for your gear. So if you have a gear set, say you have an infantry gear set, a second infantry gear set, a cav gear set, you can set them as presets and it'll make it super easy to swap them around. This also works for armaments. You can save them on the left here. I got infantry wedge, infantry arch, infantry square, cav wedge, cav arch, archer, archer. It's just super nice to have that as an option. So I highly recommend you doing it. The fourth hidden tip that I didn't know when I started playing this game is this commander view tab. Now, if you didn't know, this commander view works with primary and secondary commanders. It's very unique in that, because typically only the primary gear, armaments, and talent tree matter. But in this, let's say I'm running Alex and Sun Tzu, I want both of them on the board. So when you go into battle, remember to change these around. Especially if you're running one march, you should have both commanders on here. The fifth hidden tip is actually these troop expansions for training. Now, what I used to do was I would train these troops and then speed them up, which is actually not what you're supposed to do with them. The main method for these is if you have a yellow one, or I guess it's gold. If you have a gold reserve expansion, what you want to do is start the training several days before a training event, and then you would claim it on that day of training event. And if they end a little early, you can just let them sit here and train them, or just collect them when the training event happens. I wasn't doing this. It would be so much more helpful. I would use less speeds on the training event because I would have a big queue of troops ready to claim, and it boosts my power a lot and points a lot during that event. Another thing that I didn't know when I started playing this game is actually about VIP. No one told me this when I started playing the game, but from these VIP chests, they actually level up when you get them. And at level 10, you start getting gold heads. So if you're a new player, that should be your goal, to get to VIP 10 as fast as possible and start collecting your brand new shiny gold heads. But before you go spend all your gems into VIP, there are a couple events that you could wait to spend gems for and get extra rewards. One of them being the More Than Gems. That's coming up on March 15th, allegedly. And another one being Alliance Mobilization. You can spend gems and double dip and get some bonus rewards for leveling up your VIP, which is what I'm doing. I save up 50,000 gems for the More Than Gems event, and I put it into VIP. Honestly, I lost track of what tip I am on, but this one I think is pretty self-explanatory, but it's about engineering and the mathematics in the economic tree. You should have both of these maxed out before you start tier 4 troops. These will help you save so much time, you don't understand. So, these should be your priority in the early game to get these both finished and maxed out. Another hidden tip is about barbarian forts. Now, if you did not know, when you kill barbarian forts, you get rewards based on a tier, and this means that you start a rally with one person and only one person joins that rally. And this will give both players a 50% damage split and tier 6 rewards for the barbarian forts. You get so much better rewards Every alliance should be doing this, unless you're in the super early game and you can't really rally forts that efficiently. But if you're in KVK 1, you should be doing 1+1 forts. Another big benefit of this is that when you're killing forts, you get gifts. And when you're doing a lot of forts, your crystal chest will fill up with gifts, and you unlock more crystal chests by doing 1+1 forts. Then what you would get by doing more people per rallies. Now my last hidden tip, I actually won't be able to show you, but I will explain it very clearly so that you can replicate it in your games. So this strategy is a way for you to unlock every single ability for your commander at level 10. Now as you know, you unlock abilities as you level up normally, but when you hit a milestone of 10, 20, 30, 40, you have to use stars to break that milestone. There is a strategy that you can do to skip milestones and become a 4 stars at level 10. Now I will quickly show you. I don't have the actual stars I need, because you need some high level stars for it, but I will level up this commander and I'll show you the technique. So you want to get your commander to 10, then you start starting them up with 1s, but you do them one at a time like this. See, that crit is bad. You're supposed to not get that high of crit chance here, and boom. So what you do is you get to 80% of the first star, then it will cost you 3 of this 3 tier stars, and then 2 of this star. So it looks something like this. And then if you crit, your thing will be 4 stars at level 10. Anyways, that's all I got for you for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. Peace!